Hey, Pa. Okay, so a while ago I recorded a video explaining 5 other reasons why I'm against religion, but I didn't quite like the result, so I thought I might just record it again. I also received a rebuttal in the comments to the reasons I had given, so I'm going to briefly explain what those reasons were, and I'm also going to answer that comment. Throughout this video, I'm mostly going to talk about Christianity, not because it's the only religion I'm against, which is not the case, but because it's the one closest to me, and because of everything that's happened to JP, I have personally seen how pernicious it is. I've had many Christians, especially evangelicals, tell me that they do not belong to a religion, they just have a personal relationship with God or something like that. No, you have a certain book with certain rules you have to follow. You think all the other gods are not real, you think your God is the only one, and until you go to church and you specifically believe in the God you've been told to believe in, you're religious. Okay, so I'm gonna start by reading the first part of the comment. Hello, I totally disagree with this video, so I would like to respectfully explain why. First of all, I must say I am a Christian, and knowing what being a Christian since I was a child is, I can properly talk about it. I do not defend Christianity just because I believe in it, but because as a free thinker, I have chosen to follow what, as far as I know, is the best option for me. It's my personal opinion. I respect there will be others that do not share it, and it's totally fair. Okay, first of all, you do defend Christianity because you believe in it, obviously. Not only that, but you also have the exact same religion your parents have, and belong to the exact same denomination they belong to. What a coincidence, isn't it? And of course you believe it's the best one for you, it's the one your parents taught you. Before starting my rebuttal, I would like to point out that religion is not the same as Christianity, and you didn't talk about Buddhism or Islam, so I guess maybe the title of the video should be changed, just as a recommendation. No, I talk about religion in general. All the things I said could be applied to almost any religion. The thing is, Christianity is the one closest to me, as I said, and it's the one that's affected me personally. Hope my arguments are read with an objective perspective and as the open-minded person you claim to be, assuming you do not have the absolute truth either, and maybe not everything is just black or white. I don't think I have the absolute truth, nor do I claim to have it, unlike you and your religion, but I am pretty sure that no religion has the absolute truth either. If God existed, which I don't believe, none of them has got it right. I don't claim to know anything, I just don't believe what you have failed to prove. So my first reason was that religion closes your mind to evidence. That means that you follow what your religious book or fellow believers think and disregard everything that doesn't agree with that as false, even if it has tons of evidence to support it. So a lot of religious people will believe what this book says before believing what evidence says, and I think that's really, really dangerous. Science has found out that a lot of the things that the Bible says are wrong. The answer to this part of the video was, as a Christian-raised guy, I consider I've never been pressured to believe in Christianity, Jesus, or God, to not read secular books, or to not listen to others who think differently. Maybe you feel like you haven't been pressured, but you've been taught that your religion is the only one and it's the true one, and that's indoctrination, so you've been indoctrinated to believe it. I'm sure you listen to others who think differently, which is not always the case, but I am also sure that you have the certainty that your religion is the only true one, without any evidence, which isn't true. My parents have always explained to me what Christianity is about, what they believe in and what they think is correct. See, that's the problem. Parents tend to talk about religion to their children when they haven't even reached the age in which they can think critically or freely. A child will believe whatever you tell them. If you tell them Santa exists, they will believe it. If you tell them unicorns exist, they will believe it. So that's indoctrinating the child to believe what you want them to believe. That's forcing your child to believe what you believe, and I think that's wrong. If religion was forbidden to be taught until a child was 12, for example, most children wouldn't be religious because they wouldn't buy it. There are a lot of things in religion that are just absurd and ridiculous, but you believe them because you've been told as a child that they're true, so you continue to believe them. I think it's normal to teach your children what you think is best, as far as you don't force them to believe what you believe. Yeah, right, that's what they do. They force the child to believe what they believe. A child cannot say, no, I don't believe it. It is true that opinions and thoughts are usually the same through generations of the same family. If your parents support the independence of Catalonia, so will you. If your parents support Barca, so will you. And probably same can happen in religion. Yeah, see, I have a similar opinion with that. I think politics and religion shouldn't be taught to a child, because they grow up believing what the parents want them to believe. They should be taught about politics and religion when they grow to an age where they can understand them and doubt them. I don't think it's good to tell a child Catalonia must be independent or Catalonia must not be independent. So those things shouldn't be taught to children because they cannot understand them and ponder upon them. So they will always believe you. That means you're not letting the child think critically to decide whether that's really something sensical or not. The main thing here is, do your parents force you to support Catalonia's freedom, Barca, or to believe in God? Yes, they do if they, as a child, tell you what you have to believe. I know many friends who grew up with that pattern and decided to support different political ideas, to be a Madrid fan or to become a Muslim just because they thought it was better, but many of us follow the default path for the same reason. Yeah, when you indoctrinate a child, two things can happen when they grow up. They can rebel, or they can follow the path blindly, which is what usually happens. Because religion works because of fear. You tell them, no, if you don't believe in God, you will go to hell. And children believe it because they're afraid. That's the horrible thing to do to a child as a person. That is not the problem. The problem is letting others think for you instead of thinking by yourself. I agree. My second reason was that religion takes advantage of people. So people who believe in religion are mostly children, forced to believe what you want them to believe, or people who have had tough times during their lives and they need to lean on something, so they decide to go and find something that makes them happy, such as a religion, for example. Religion makes people less afraid of death because it kind of gives them a hope, but it's a false one. So what's the point, really? You want to believe it, so for you, believing what you want to believe is more important than knowing what can be demonstrated. And I think that's really dangerous as well. Of course, indoctrinating a child to believe that is not the same as an adult believing it because they need it. It is true that throughout history, people have made horrible things in the name of God, and it is a bummer because they have dirtied Christianity. I don't think it's that people have dirtied Christianity. I think people dirty Christianity nowadays. Most Christians, actually. I have met really few Christians that are good people, except others. And those are usually the ones that don't follow the Bible blindly. So they're not true Christians. True Christians are horrible people most of the time because they follow what the Bible says blindly. A lot of Christians treat their friends badly when they stop believing what they believe. So they kind of want to force their beliefs on someone who has decided to change them. I don't think that's good. And they think that God, a being which is not even demonstrated to exist, is more important than friends or family. You think that's good? Nowadays, many churches also take advantage of people promising false things or taking their money away. But do we have to blame the whole religion because some people implement wrongly what the Bible says? No, the thing is, a lot of people implement what the Bible says well, and that's why they are horrible people. Because the Bible is a horrible book that teaches really horrible things. I don't think it's a book that should be read by children, or anybody for that matter. Have you actually thought thoroughly about what the Bible says? God is pictured as a horrible, narcissistic, violent God. I don't know, I don't think that's a good book to follow to have immorality in your life. And I'm not judging a whole religion because of what some people do. I'm judging a whole religion because of what most of its followers do. Of course, many people are wrong in the way that they treat others, talk to others, or live in general, but this happens with Christians and with atheists. And as an absolute truth cannot be demonstrated, we cannot determine who is right and who is wrong when we talk about choosing lifestyles, can we? You're right, like, people can be bad despite what they believe in, but as a quote said, I don't remember how it was literally, but there was a quote that said that for someone good to do bad, that takes religion, and I think it's true. Religion has made really good people into really bad people because of what it teaches. So I think religion is pernicious, without any doubt. Because of what I've experimented and because of what I've seen firsthand. You're right about the fact that there's no right or wrong when choosing lifestyles, but a lifestyle that relies upon judging others and treating people badly, or loving a fictional character more than real people, I mean, I would tell people not to choose that one. By the way, if there are people that have had tough lives and fully choose to believe in something that gives them hope and joy, what is wrong with that? What's wrong with that is that this joy makes them treat others badly most of the time, or judge others because they do not believe what they have found that is so good. That's horrible. That's what's wrong with it. Some others play fortune games or lottery because it gives them hope and joy to think it may give them a better life, and some others do so with not believing in anything. Right, okay, first of all, there's no one that doesn't believe in anything. You can not believe in the afterlife or in the supernatural, but everyone believes in something. Like, not believing in the supernatural because you have no evidence to believe it doesn't mean you do not believe in anything. And then, gambling or lottery doesn't harm others, unless you have a mental problem and you steal or do something like that, in which case you should seek help. But most of the time, if you gamble and you're addicted and lose money, you lose your own money. So you're ruining yourself. It's not a problem that affects anyone else, but religion does affect everyone else. It affects your children, it affects your friends, it affects who you treat with. So, I mean, I don't think you go to your children and tell them to gamble, do you? You probably don't, because you know that gambling is something that should be managed by adults. It can be good and it can be bad. It depends on luck, but at the end of the day, something you choose. Everyone can choose in what they want to deposit their faith. Even atheists have faith, but in the non-existence of God, for example. What the? Atheists do not have faith in the non-existence of God. Like, that's one of the most absurd things I've ever heard in my life, I think. Atheists do not have faith. That's the whole point. They do not believe in God because there's no evidence to support God. Some religious people believe in God, such as Christians, because they want to believe in God, because deep down they know they don't have any evidence at all to believe it. And atheists say, okay, you want to believe in that, but you have no evidence to support it, so I don't believe you. It's not that I have faith in the non-existence of God. I just don't buy what you're telling me because you have no evidence whatsoever. For example, you do not have faith in the non-existence of two winged apples. You know they don't exist because they're nonsensical. Well, the same happens with your God. I don't know if something supernatural exists or if there is a God, but your God is certainly not real because the whole plot is absurd. If I were God, I would have done it much, much better. But that's the thing, saying atheists have faith in the non-existence of God is like saying you have faith in the non-existence of unicorns. It makes no sense at all, I'm sorry. Third reason, religious people tend to think that myths and science have the same weight, or that myths and scientific explanations have the same weight. In the first one I mentioned that it closes your mind in general, but the thing here is that religious people tend to think that their myths, what they believe blindly, has the same weight as stuff proven that has evidence to support it. They tend to try to think that believing in God without any evidence has the same weight as, I don't know, gravity, for example, or evolution, both of which are pretty much proven. Firstly, religion is not against science, just the other way around. Science and faith are completely unifiable, I guess you wanted to say? Okay, no, science and religion are not completely unifiable, because science has proven many things that most religions say to be wrong. So they're not unifiable whatsoever. The only divergence might be in the creation of the earth and evolution, but if we are a bit creative, because we cannot know the details which are not explained in the Bible, we could even say that God created the Big Bang, which settled down the earth to start having life, when the evolution was done, when evolution happened, I don't know what you want to say exactly, Adam and Eve were the first human beings to exist. Okay, that makes no sense at all, and that's not the only divergence. Okay, first, the earth wasn't created in 7 days, and that's demonstrable. Second, evolution is basically a fact, whether you like it or not. That's a good thing about science. It doesn't care what you think. It's still true. And there are many divergences. For example, the Great Flood couldn't have happened. Firstly, because a flood of that magnitude couldn't have happened. That's the first thing. And second, do you think that Noah got 2 of every single animal in the world? They didn't eat each other, and there were also insects there. Like, it makes no sense at all. It's a nonsensical story. No one in the right mind will believe that. God created the Big Bang, settled down the earth to start having life, and Adam and Eve were the first humans? They were not first humans. Evolution doesn't work like that. It's a really slow process. There isn't a certain person to which you can say, okay, a certain being to which you can say, okay, you are a human and your father was not. No, it's progressive. It doesn't work like that. We cannot talk about 2 humans that were Adam and Eve. That makes no sense at all. Because human isn't a term that was applied exactly to a single person or 2 people. Firstly, there were many more people that were changing progressively. So there were not only 2 people. And then they didn't have a certain moment of, I am human. So that doesn't make no sense at all. I personally don't believe in this theory, but just to use it as an example that shows it's not incompatible. Okay, that's not a theory, it's a hypothesis. A theory needs to have evidence to support it. That's just a hypothesis because it has no evidence at all and it doesn't make any sense. Having said that, as far as I know, the theory of evolution is still a theory. Everything is just a theory. There's nothing that's 100% proven, because that's basically impossible. We call it a theory when it has evidence to support it. We call something a theory when it has evidence. So gravity is a theory, and you still believe in it, I guess? I mean, no one would say, no, gravity, well, yeah, there are people who say gravity doesn't exist. Yeah, there are all kinds of people. The point is that gravity is a fact, whether you like it or not, and evolution is a fact, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter what you want to believe. It is true, despite what you want to believe. If not, all the news would show the big discovery that proves it. I mean, there have been many discoveries to prove it, and it is proven. The good thing about science is that it abides by what's proven to be true. So, if something new is discovered that proves something that contradicts something else, we will work it out. We will try to see which one is true and which one is not. We will not be saying, no, this must be true, so we have to believe this, we have to reject the evidence we found. No, science abides by what's true. That's why faith and science are not unifiable, because faith abides by what you want to be true. Doesn't matter whether it's true or not. You want to believe it, so you believe it. That's it. It is true some evidence has been found, and Christians, at least I and the ones I know, don't negate that. I mean, I know many of the people you know, they do deny evolution. Actually, I haven't even met one that accepts it. But as far as we can demonstrate God exists, nobody can demonstrate he doesn't exist. And for the moment, same happens with evolution and other theories. No, that's not true. We can demonstrate that evolution is true. We have tons of evidence to think that's true. You have no evidence whatsoever to believe that God is true. It cannot be demonstrated that God doesn't exist because we cannot prove a negative. We cannot prove that two winged apples don't exist as well. But that doesn't make them sensical or real. 4. Religions isolate you from the world. This is not always the case, but it does happen a lot of the time. And because of what I've seen firsthand from JP's experience with evangelical Christians, I can say that happens. Okay, so they all went to the same church, right? And most of them didn't want to have friends that were not Christians. And I think that's really bad. So you basically judge non-believers as bad people because they do not believe what you believe, and you think what you believe is absolute, which is really awful as well. That's why you don't want to be friends with them, because you think they're wicked or they're going to go to hell or something like that. So you do not make friends unless you make friends to convert them to Christianity. That happens at least with evangelical Christians. I've seen it happen, so it's true. Probably it doesn't happen with everyone, because JP had friends that were not from the church, but many people did this. Only have friends if you're going to convert them to Christianity, otherwise don't, because they're not good people. I've always been encouraged to have all kinds of friends. I believe this is from your church. I believe diversity makes your life richer and helps you learn about other cultures and perspectives, which are very interesting. Now I study in an international university and share a classroom with people from Morocco, Muslims, from Norway, atheists, from Japan, Hinduists, from the States, Christians, and I think it is fantastic. Okay, it really strikes me that you've met people from Japan that are Hinduists. I don't know if you're generalizing, but people in Japan are normally Buddhists or Shintoists, or just atheists. I've learned from them, considered their thoughts, but after that concluded I'm fine with what I believe in. What a surprise. Because it's my personal decision. Yeah, right. If sometime the religious topic shows up in a conversation, I obviously share my point of view, which I think is right and will like the others to believe as I do, and the others share their point of view with the same target, and it's absolutely fine. But that happens with my Real Madrid friends too. I wish they supported my team, and I'll always try to make them change their opinion, but never force them. Just talk as civilized people. I think that's a really unfortunate comparison. No soccer team is better than any other, and everybody knows that. But religious people think their religion is the right one and everyone else is wrong. So I think that's a pretty bad comparison. You can tell your child, I like this team, follow it. It's kind of forcing them, but it's not really forcing them because, it doesn't harm anyone. But religion is very different because they scare children, they tell them what to believe, to disregard evidence, as I said, everything is said, but that doesn't happen with soccer teams. It's just really subjective. It doesn't matter at all. 5. Judgment. If religious people think their religion is the only one, the true one, and they are right and absolutely everyone else is wrong, they will judge everyone that doesn't believe what they believe. And that's something that happened to me. When JP was still a Christian, I went to his church and they looked at me as if I was some kind of horrible person, that kind of looks, that stares, that kind of make you think you're not in the right place. That's how I felt. I felt really out of place because of the way in which they were staring at me and talking to me. I felt really uncomfortable. And that's how they act. They treat you as if you were inferior, or as if you're completely wrong, so you don't deserve to be there, or as in that's why we do not have friends outside of the church. They're wrong, they're bad people, they're Satanists, which a lot of people say. So it's not something I'm making up, it's something I experienced firsthand. And for example, when JP stopped believing in God because he decided it didn't make sense, his friends started telling him, you're in the wrong path, you will go to hell, you will see when you die, you're wrong. And it's like, can't you accept that someone else believes, I don't know, differently than you do? That's the thing that makes religion so dangerous. They cannot accept other viewpoints most of the time. Not always. Maybe you do accept them, but it's not the rule. And most people I know, who you know as well, do not. People are used to being judgmental, Christians or not. People are used to doing things wrong and hurting others, Christians or not. People are used to criticizing, Christians or not. But people are people, and categorizing them is not fair for the ones who are not that way. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but the problem is that most Christians are like that. It's not a minority, it's a majority. So that's a problem. When most of the people that do something are a certain way, it's because something is wrong. So I criticize how they behave and how they treat others without any remorse. I do not judge anyone because of their thoughts or convictions or any other thing. As long as they are not harmful, neither do I. Everyone is free to think and share what they want as far as it's done with respect, and in my opinion, debating is a very interesting way to share, contrast, and prove all what you think is true. Yeah, debating is a great thing, even if you have different opinions with someone, because you can learn a lot. But you cannot prove what you believe because you would be on TV. Like, I don't agree, as you said, that debating is a very interesting way to share. Yes, contrast and prove all what you think is true. No, you cannot prove it. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to believe it. You would know it. So faith and belief are only needed because you cannot prove what you believe. If you could prove it to others, you would know it, and others would know it as well, and you would be on national TV. But it's not the case, because no religion can be proven, because it's a myth. If you're open to learn and you're able to think maybe you are wrong, you can discover new right things, or reaffirm what you already believed in. Yeah, I agree completely. The problem is that religious people do not think they are wrong, ever. They tell others they are wrong. Like what happened with JP. They tell others, no, you're wrong, you're in the wrong path, I am right, my God is the true one. Even Christians, just Christians, argue with one another because they don't agree in regards to what the Bible wants to say or what you have to do or how you have to live. That's another problem that religion has. They don't usually think they're wrong, because if they did, they would investigate and see they are. What they do is they think they doubt, but they are moved by something called confirmation bias, which is that they only seek evidence. They try to find things that reinforce what they believe, but they do not ever find or pay attention to things that say what they believe is wrong. So the point is, they only focus on the things that reaffirm what they believe. If you really wanted the truth, you would research both, and you would read both. People that say that your religion is right and people that say that your religion is wrong, and you would compare them. But what they do is they only search people that say that their religion is right. They only search arguments that say that their religion is right. But they never search arguments. They never look for arguments that say that their religion is wrong, because of their confirmation bias. And that's why they are never wrong, because they are not open to knowing if they're wrong. They just want to be right. So they won't ask themselves, am I wrong? No. They will say, I will confirm that I am right. It doesn't matter whether I'm right or not. I am right, and that's it. That's how they think. One of your conclusions was, Christians indoctrinate children to believe in what Christianity says. Generalizing is a very dangerous and hurtful thing, so I would like to please ask you not to do it anymore, because as there might be people who do that, many others, at least the ones that I know, don't do so. So we should all respect that. I mean, the definition of indoctrinate is to teach a person or a group of people a certain belief uncritically. Teaching children your belief, which you know cannot be proven to be true, as if it were the truth, is by definition uncritical. So what you're doing is the exact definition of indoctrinating. It's not that I say it is. If you search the definition, that's exactly what you do. You teach a set of beliefs which cannot be demonstrated to be true as if they were fact. That's not critical. So you're teaching a set of beliefs uncritically. That's it. You might not like the word, but that's exactly what you do.
I also want to add that when I was a Christian, I had an argument with Ale about indoctrinating children. I didn't understand why he said it, and I thought like you, but as an ex-Christian, now I can understand it. When I was a child, I took classes in the church about the Bible and everything, so I learned everything from the Bible for children. So is a kind of indoctrination. And also, I would sing songs about God, and now I will show you the lyrics. Lee la Biblia y ora cada día si quieres crecer. Jesús ama a cada uno, Dios es amor. Cristo me ama, tengo un amigo muy especial que se preocupa por mí. Vale. Confía siempre en Jehová. Amarás a Dios de todo corazón, con todo tu ser, con toda tu alma. Mi nombre está escrito en el libro de Dios. Él es Dios, Él es Rey y venció. Cristo me ama, la Biblia lo dice así. Dios con un viento abrió el mar rojo y su pueblo lo cruzó. Quiero poner la mira en lo celestial, en tu amor y en tu gran bondad. Quiero pensar en cómo debo yo vivir. Yo quiero pensar solo en ti.
Thanks for the comment. It helped me explain my point in a better way in this video than I did the last time, because I didn't prepare the video at all. I mean, I haven't prepared this one much either, but I've prepared it a little more. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you another time. Hey, bye.